Yeah, I hear you. I hear you.
Yep. So
So, go
what's
ahead.
your basis? You got some input on what we're talking about?
Well, I only joined in the last couple minutes, and from what I've heard so far, you guys were talking about this movie that Barack Obama just made. It's called, what is it called? Leaving the World Behind.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, now I plan on watching the movie. I don't have my Netflix account available right now, so I haven't been able to watch it.
Mm-hmm.
However, I did watch a few videos where they went into like, breaking it down, showing some Easter eggs in it, and, some
Yeah.
hidden like
There's a
how
Yep.
lot of
those
Easter eggs.
Yep.
right, right. So it's definitely, seems very interesting, and as
Mm-hmm.
a guy like myself, who believes in some conspiracies and things like that, I mean, it's certain that,
Yep.
the elite, they're certainly putting hidden messages in there to warn people beforehand, just like what we
Absolutely.
saw with, certain events happen in the past.
Yes. Yep. It does because it all clicks together into what's going on now. And being him, he already knows the insides and outs.
You guys know something called the Illuminati card game?
Is it what was it, a movie?
Well, it's like a, the playing cards, like a pack of playing cards. You know those,
Mm-hmm.
right? Yeah. So if you look this up, which the little backstory on it, it's a game called the Illuminati card game. You can look this up on eBay. That's the only place you can buy this because it's no longer sold in the stores. And the story behind it is this came out back in like the 90s. I believe it was 94 or 96 that this game was released. And basically, it's basically like a card game, but the interesting part is there's a lot of cards in this game that depict events that happened within the last 20 25 years, such as the whole thing that happened in 2020. I'll use code language because YouTube doesn't like those words, but the jabby jab, that's in the cards. Even the word, which, well, I can't say it on here, but if you look up the card game, you're going to see that in the cards. 9/11 was in the cards. Remember, this came out before this even happened. This came out before the year 2000, right? So
Yep.
all of these different things, the Pentagon being hit, the Twin Towers being hit, it's in the cards. And a lot of interesting stuff. I definitely recommend you guys to look into that in your free time. Once again, it's called the Illuminati card game.
Yep. To see what the scenarios match up to. Yeah, that's definitely interesting. Definitely interesting.
And I only gave a handful of them. I mean, there's, for people who look deeper than I
Oh,
have, there's
okay.
certainly more in there, more cards in there. I
Yep.
believe there's like 600 cards or something like that. Definitely some interesting stuff they
Mhm.
show within that game.
Are you familiar with a couple people in the prepping community on here?
I would say, well, this is my first time seeing your channel, but as far as like as a whole on YouTube, yeah, I know a decent amount of the prepper
Do you
channels.
remember? Do you
I've
remember
been
one?
watching them. Go ahead.
Do you remember prepping 101?
Prepping 101, I'm sure I've seen some of his videos before in the
Yep.
past.
Because him and Lake Files have covered that about the Illuminati cards. She just put it in chat now. I forgot all about that, and then that's why it sounded familiar as you when you talked about it because they cover that. So yeah, we know about it, and yeah, it's kind of interesting on how they can, like even like what I said before, even going back to cartoons and movies, they predict all this stuff that hasn't happened yet. You know?
Yep. Yeah, yeah. It's definitely see some very interesting stuff. What gets me is people will be like regular simps in the world will be like, oh, there's no conspiracies. There's the U.S. government isn't hiding anything. It's like,
Yep.
really, they're not hiding anything. It's like, what about, well, which I'll use code language, but if anybody has been paying attention to what's been happening in the world, it's like you have people dropping dead, young, healthy people in their 20s and 30s dropping dead. They call it sudden adult death syndrome, and this has only happened since 2020. This wasn't
Hmm.
common before that. And why is that? I'll leave the audience. You can put the pieces together because we can't use certain words on here. But clearly, it has to do with the whole situation that happened in 2020. And people are just gullible and won't even look into that.
Yep. Exactly. It's just all matching up. Also, call uprising shows the card game. Yeah.
Yeah, Call for an Uprising. I haven't watched him in a while, but I actually subscribed to him when he had like 13,000 subscribers. Me and him started our YouTube channels. I believe it was in like I think I started mine like 2 months before he did his. It was back in like 2016. So yeah, I know about that character. Haven't watched him in a while, but I've watched him
Yep.
at the beginning of his channel.
Okay, Shallow End Lake and Mr. Bear Truth on One has a question for you, ETT. What do you
Go
think is gonna happen to the water supply in the near future?
the water supply in the near future. Well, let me clarify real quick. When you talk about water supply, are you talking about like all the water on Earth in general, or just water that's being purified for people to drink?
We'll give him the
Yeah,
Jeopardy countdown. Do, do, do. Type it in.
but I will say this though, which has to do with that question. I certainly wouldn't recommend anybody to drink, tap water. I wouldn't trust that. But
Hmm.
as far as bottled water, I mean, you can test it yourself at home. It seems pretty safe, the bottled water, but certainly don't drink out of the tap water. That's not
There you go.
something to tell before.
Yep. So that answered it right there. Water supply that the people are going to be drinking. Yep.
Yeah. So as I said, if you go to the store and buy, say, a 24 pack of water, I think that's safe to drink because they had to go for certain tests in order to purify all that. So all of that's good. However, there's also a catch. Since you're talking about prepping too, right? You
Hmm.
want to make sure you rotate out your water because if you have the water bottles waiting there in a closet for some say a couple years, that plastic's gonna leach certain chemicals into the water, so you have to rotate that out every year or so, so it just doesn't contaminate it. Same thing if you leave a plastic water bottle out in the direct sunlight over the
Yep.
course of some time, it's gonna contaminate the water. So of course you have to rotate those out to make sure you don't contaminate that water.
That's the purpose. One of the purpose golden rules. You always rotate, rotate, rotate.
Definitely.
Rotate your supplies. Pump water out of the ground, and I'm not stopping. There you go, B. Don't stop until it runs dry. Yep. I had 4 different people sending pictures of the skies yesterday all across North Carolina. They're spraying the heck out of us. I know that's what everyone is getting. Why everyone's getting sick? Yeah, and that's also the changing in our foods and everything too, because it goes right into the soils. Hey, Life with Bobby. Good to see you. Yeah, definitely pay attention, Lady D'Agostata. I was gonna say Lady Casca. But yeah, we've all been paying attention to the spray, and definitely pay attention in your areas, time frames when they do it, and set up neighborhood alerts and stuff too, or like your town alerts or something, just to keep that on, so you know when they're going to do it, so you're pretty much ahead of time.
And another tip I want to throw on there is, we got to remember. Oh, and this correlates back to the movie you guys were talking about, where there was like a, nationwide cyber attack, right, where they lost, all connection to everything. One
Mm-hmm.
thing that everybody should take account of is when this happens, you're not going to have access to the internet. So right now, we can sit at home and learn anything you want on the internet. But once
Yep.
something like that happens, you're not going to have it. So what would be a smart idea to do is to have, say, certain books set aside. Well, you should be reading them now, of course, but you should have a
Yep.
physical copy of certain survival manuals and manuals on how to do certain things like, water purification, um, how to grow your own food, certain things like that. It just would be smart to have some of those
Absolutely.
manuals around because once the internet goes down, you don't have access to that information other than having a handheld book in your home.
Absolutely. Oh yeah, Wildlife. Yeah, that's right, Wildlife. The latest Avatar movie was called Avatar: The Way of the Waters. Yup. There you go.
Well, they're supposed to come out with another one too.
All
Or
right.
Man,
it's already,
I
it's
remember
already
when the
being
first
made.
I remember when the first Avatar movie came out. I believe, well, let's see. I think it was like 9 years old or something when that movie came out a long time ago.
Oh,
They
you're
just
even
came out
younger
with
than
a
me. I was the
well,
baby.
I'm only 21, but I would consider myself to be a prepper or in the truth since I was like 12 years old. So I've have a couple of years that of
You were
experience.
taught well then, and you learned to investigate on your own also. So that's good.
Right. Well, I've been teaching on YouTube since I was 14. Back in like 2016, I made my channel, which if anybody wants to look me up, you can find me. End Time Teacher. I have the same icon I have here. Basically, I
Mhm.
talk about like events going on in the world. I correlate that back to the Bible because I personally believe in the Bible, but that's a different
Yep.
conversation.
Nope.
Um,
Good
and
conversation.
that's basically what I talk about.
Yep. No, that's a good conversation. We're all cool with that. Definitely cool with that here. So with the Bible talk. Yep. So we really do that too. Really don't watch much TV or movies. I know we channel, but well, maybe you might not want to because you might get scared. You might get scared.
Well, let me comment on that. I myself, which I would call myself a minimalist, so I don't live with a whole lot of possessions, but I haven't watched TV. Like I haven't turned a TV on to watch cable television since I was like 11 years old. So that's 10 years I've went now without turning on the television to watch cable. However, I still do own a TV because I might watch, a favorite movie I have or play a game on it, or I can watch YouTube on the TV.
Yes.
So really the way I look at it is cable's dying out, right? Most people don't use cable. Just like
Mhm.
what
Oh,
happened with
it's
what is it? Blockbusters, right? They went out of business. Why
Yep.
did they go out of
it's
business? Because
everything's
they're
subscription
online
based.
streaming, right? You can stream whatever you want at home. So why the hell
Yep.
would I get in the car to go rent a movie that I got to go drive back a few days later if I can just rent it from the house? So same thing with cable television. That's dying out. Only a few people are using that now because now you can use streaming services to get everything that you need, even for a less expensive price.
Yep. Absolutely. That's how it's going now. But so the only thing you need is your Wi-Fi.
Yeah, exactly. Like I remember, back when I was growing up, we were paying like I think it was like $70, $80 for cable a month, believe it or not. And
Mm-hmm.
I mean, hell, I remember at one house we only had like what, like 5 channels or something, but that's a story for another time. But really, you only need to have Wi-Fi. For one, it saves you a couple extra dollars, which is always appreciated. And you practically don't need to have cable because everything that is available on cable, you can get that and much more by just having access to the internet.
Right? What life be kind of rewind. Yep. That was the motto. Yeah. Yeah. I agree with you. You both. Everything's stream based, app based.
Right. I mean, hell, soon enough, like I remember when I was little, we still had the VHS tapes. I remember watching some of those. Then they got brought out the DVDs. But sooner or later, in a couple of years, they're going to do away with DVDs. I mean, you'll still find them here or there, but you can get all of that by just having access to the internet. So eventually, it's gonna, not many people are going to be using the DVDs eventually, just like what happened with the VHS tape.
Yes. Yeah. I remember when cable first came out. It was like a big thing in the 80s. I was an 80s kid, bushcraft. And you had a flip switch, either A or B side. And you could only have those two choices. And even in the 80s, the television went out. It was later towards in like 85, 90s when the television would stay on all night. But I remember when they played the national anthem at night and the American flag, you see it on the television, and then all of a sudden, boop, it would go all snow. It was
Yeah.
done. That was it. But when cable came, that kind of dwindled away. I pushed it away.
But go ahead, man. You were about to say something, and then we cut you off.
Who, bushcraft?
Um, no, I think you were gonna say something.
No, that was it. I
Oh,
whispered.
Yeah,
Was-
somebody. I don't know the other person's name on here, but I think they went to go say something, and then we might have talked over them. So I just wanted to give them a chance if they were, but maybe I misheard them. That's all right.
yeah, no, he was agreeing with you by saying everything was turned to the streaming services when you were talking about streaming services.
Oh, subscription, yeah.
Subscriptions, yeah.
Right, right, and hell, let me even say this: I don't mind paying, a subscription service like Netflix. I don't know how much Netflix is now. When I was growing up, it was like $10 a month, which that's really not bad, right? That $10 a month
It's up to
to have all
13.
access to most of the movies that would be streaming on TV or the series or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
$10 you can't beat that. Even if it's
Uh,
$15 you can't beat that.
I'm still paying $9.97 for
You said
Netflix.
I'm at $13.99 all day.
Yeah, you need to cancel.
Oh, is that how they?
Cancel, and then they'll send you a thing and make
We
it
want
cheaper.
you.
Because
Nice.
I remember back in the day when the streaming service was just kicking off, you could have multiple uh,
All right,
multiple people watching at the same time.
hold the
Oh
phone.
yeah, absolutely. Which I mean, hell, you up until recently you could have that, but now in the last couple of months, Netflix they did away with that because people would share their accounts around.
Mm-hmm.
So in order to
Yeah,
cut back on that, they made it to where you're not allowed to do that. But I remember that, you're able to,
That you can
pay
do
for
it,
it,
but you
and then
have
you
to
can
give
have
your physical
streaming.
address of where you're going to have it at for your family
Right.
members. And they
Mm.
now do that with Spotify too to listen to music because before they would have a sharing thing. Yep,
Right.
$6.99 for ads and 15 something for no ads, and then
I
premium
mean,
no
I mean,
20.
hell, I remember there was a time like if you
Netflix is
even look on.
$23. What the heck?
$23 for premium.
You
Maybe
need to
that's why my
cancel
bill.
that.
That's why my bill went up. I just noticed that my last two bills. I was like, why is my bill like something 53 and it used to be
Yeah,
just even two.
I don't
Yeah.
have ads either on mine. It's $9.97 a month for Netflix.
All right, hold on. Be chiming. No. Runny Oaks. No. Don't get me going. B Chairman's going to go make some runny yolks. Ooh, no. Sorry. Go make them milk and keep them over there with you. Sorry. I don't like runny yolks. I get stick to the stomach.
Yeah, usually what I do is um, I'll I'll watch whatever I want to, and then I'll cancel it and come
Mm-hmm.
back in 2 or 3 months, and then I get it for cheaper, and then I'll binge watch something, and then cancel it again in a couple months.
Yeah, it's a smart idea. What my uncle used to do is he would make like hundreds of accounts. So what he could do is he could get a 1 month free trial. Like I'm talking back when this stuff first came out, the Netflix and all that. You'd give you a free trial, so he'll have it for that. Maybe it was a week or a couple weeks or up to a month. But then he'd delete the account and then just make a whole nother address and place they can contact them so he can get a whole nother month for a free trial. Some people are slick
Mm-hmm.
with it. I mean, hell, it saves a couple extra dollars in your wallet, which is always appreciated.
Yeah, Lady Casca, they are too woke, but I still like my zombie series. I'm sorry. Watch
I
me too.
was gonna say, YouTube, right? If you go on YouTube, because I remember, say, for instance, because I was born in the early 2000s, so when YouTube was first released in 2005, I was like 3 years old when this platform came out. Hell, I can still remember watching cartoons on YouTube back when it was first, was released worldwide. But
Yep.
back then when it first came out, and for say 10, 11 years ago, there were no ads on YouTube. There were no ads on YouTube. Now, of course, today you'll watch a video and there's like 20 ads on it, and it's probably going to get even worse. My prediction is next year, right in 2024, I wouldn't be surprised if how now you have to watch two commercials back to back, and
Mm-hmm.
2024 you're going to have to watch three commercials back to back. That's my
Mm-hmm.
prediction.
Keep you there longer. That's why.
Right.
Yeah.
Like I mean, all jokes aside, I literally clicked earlier on a video that was like 10 seconds long, and I got two 15-second ads on the 10-second long YouTube Shorts video.
You almost made it to a minute, damn it.
Yeah, I remember some of my videos on my other channel probably 10 years ago where I'd get ads on them for 2 hours, 2 hour ads.
You know what I find weird? I don't have any type of partnership with YouTube, but a couple of times I went back and watched one of my own videos, and there were a few ads on my own video. It's like, wait, what the hell? Why are there ads on my own video if I'm not in any type of partnership with YouTube? So they shouldn't be putting that on there because they have to there's
Yeah,
like a partnership is
that's
how
been in effect since 2012.
Mhm. Yeah, and people that pay for premium, they don't have the commercials either. I don't have the commercials because I also use it for the movie and music parts too, because some things you have to pay for or even on Netflix.
yeah,
No.
right, right. Yeah, I hear you. But truthfully, right, when the commercials first came out, which again I remember is a point where there were no commercials, but then when they first came out, it wasn't terrible, right? It wasn't terrible compared to how it is right now. I mean, shit, I'll watch a 10-minute long video and I'll get like 6 ads on the 10-minute video, two back to back in a couple different spots. So they're definitely pretty bad, nowadays, unless you pay for the subscription so you don't gotta watch them. But most
Hmm.
of us don't have that type of money, you know what I'm saying?
Yes.
How much is that even? I forgot to check. How much is what is it called? Ad block or something like that?
App block.
Or whatever the service that you pay for so you don't have to watch the ads on videos. I'm not
It's
familiar.
Oh,
YouTube
it's
Premium.
YouTube Premium. I think it's $12.99. Well, if you want the family bundle, it's like $24.99 when you can let other people from your family watch it. But me,
Right.
I just pay $12.99 a month.
Yeah, I hear you. I hear you.
So that gives me movies, music, and the TV part. They just started doing the live television part, and I don't pay for that. That's like $50 a month or something like that. I was like, nope. I have air antenna or cable if I need to.
Yeah, I mean, hell, that's like $50 a month. That's like paying for cable all over again, just
Mm-hmm.
for
Yep. But yeah,
yeah.
it's
All I've been using, I don't pay YouTube nothing. I haven't made a penny off of any of my videos in the last 7 years, and I don't pay YouTube anything to use their platform.
mm-hmm. Yep. Well, that's good. A
Hmm.
lot of us are out there that don't want to get paid from it, that just do it, and some people
Like
that need.
I've been offered because I have almost 900 followers on my page. So I've been offered to do a what's it called, like a partnership with YouTube. I've been offered, but I declined it for a few reasons. But they did offer me it when I had like 800 subscribers. So
Yeah,
really unhappy with it.
what is it called? The super chats, the memberships, and the
Right,
merchandise thing. Yeah, yep. But if you do all the shorts, then you have 3 million to do.
right. I hear you.
But still, it's. I mean, we don't bash anybody down if they have to get. It's some people depend on that income, and
Right,
they
I
do.
hear you. I have a friend of mine. I have a
Yep.
buddy. He used to be called Rock Upon Him on YouTube. His real name is John. And
Hmm.
he's like a Christian channel, but I was talking with him one time, and he was like, "Hey, man, I get like, remember he was like 15, so he was like, yeah, man, I get like $100 a month, just off of putting up a couple videos on YouTube." I was like, "Oh, damn, $100 a month, that ain't bad, just for
Yeah,
putting up 2 or 3 videos."
yeah, but you have to make 100 to get that 100.
Right,
100 more to get it. So he probably made a little bit more than, but they slam you with. They take their percentage out.
right,
So
of course, of course.
yep. No, we all know the YouTube game about that one. But still, I'm trying to aim to get my numbers up, honestly, because it would help me with my income if I did a little bit here and there. But I am also debating on it because you also hear the downfalls of it. So I still don't know what to do, but I'm not pushing myself like that either out there. I don't need to. If people want to come sub, they sub. If they don't, they don't. No.
Yeah,
Try.
that's how you gotta look at things, and especially talking about the things I talk about, especially, but even for you guys, talk about prepping and all that. That's not
Yeah.
a popular topic among the people. So masses of people, they'd rather watch some type of entertainment or news compared to watching something telling them,
Well, that's
there's bad times that they don't want to hear that.
you just open topics, and today I had watched the movie, so I figured I would do one like, "What's your plan?" Getting
Right.
questions and answers from involved with the chat and stuff. But yeah, usually we just goof off and screw around and
Yeah, I
that's
hear you. I've been on a lot of those before myself, so I know
Mhm.
how those can go. But like, I mean, to be honest with you, I was just on the stream, like, well, before I hopped on with you guys, I was on, and there was like 10 people on there arguing. So I was like, damn, I don't want to sit here, and hear these people yelling at each other. I'm just gonna go find another chill stream and hop on with them for a few minutes. But then I found you guys, so I decided to hop on because I had a few, free minutes on my hands.
Well, it's good to have you up because you're very up to the now. So being at your age, it's good.
Right, definitely.
It is good. What life says now, I have to resort to selling feet pics.
Right.
Well, I'm gonna call it because I've been on for an hour and a little bit over an hour, but I was just gonna do an hour stream today and kind of take the rest of the day easy because I'm a diabetic. Type 1 and my sugars were kind of nuts throughout the last 2 days, so I'm getting a headache actually from looking at the screen. So, oh, cool. Thank you, B Charmin. She subbed. You have a B Charmin in your subscription list now. You got a B.
Yeah, that's good. That's good.
Yep,
But yeah, thanks for having me on. It was a good conversation, and hopefully
absolutely.
I'll stop back someday.
We kind of figured out that you knew the ins and outs of it when you were like, I know that I have to show my face and this and that. So,
Right, right.
no, but it was very good to meet you and hope to see you again. You're welcome anytime. So, I
All
went
right. Cool.
so, yep.
All right. Thanks for having me on.
Catch you later.